First, we'll call this meeting of the Glynn County Board of Commissioners to order. Hope you that are viewing live stream are having less problems than we're having as a commission tonight. I will open up with an invocation and then we'll move forward from there. Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for your love. We just pray that your guiding hand would be upon us. Help us as we make the decisions for our community. Help us as we move forward. We pray for safety and security, for the events that are happening around us. We thank you for the peace and the love that's been shown so far. We just thank you for all our first responders and the work that they do in our community. And we thank you always for our servicemen and women. We pray that you would be with us through this meeting tonight. May your will be done. May all we do be to glorify your name. Amen. Ms. Bakulich, let's have a roll call before we start. Commissioner Tostenson.
Here.
Commissioner Findig.
Here.
Commissioner Bronson.
Here.
Commissioner Booker.
Here.
Commissioner Rafalski. He is having trouble linking in. Commissioner O'Quinn.
I'm here, audio only.
Okay. All right. And then others with us tonight. I see Aaron Mumford. See Tamara Munson. Rhonda Vakulich. You're still on here with us, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Pamela Thompson. I see you. Will Worley, I have seen you. Chief Evans, I saw you a little earlier. Are you still with us?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
And I see Josh Bain with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is Miss Ora Reed with us? I don't know if she's in tonight or not. Who else with the staff do we have with us tonight? All right, hearing none, we'll move forward, and maybe Commissioner Rafalski can join us in a little bit. Ms. Vakulich, do we have any public comments to be read in tonight? Did we lose Ms. Vakulich? I see her up there.
I'm sorry, sir.
Do we have any public comments to be read in
No,
tonight?
sir, we do not.
And do we have anyone visiting with us at the Pate building? Is there any public comments? Anybody signed in?
I believe there's a few for public hearings.
Okay, but none for public comment?
No, sir.
All right. I don't think we have anything for our commission presentations and announcements tonight, so we'll move into the consent agenda.
Move the approved consent agenda with general business with the exception of any item that a commissioner wishes to discuss.
Okay, and Commissioner Bronson, I need to interrupt before that motion is made. We have a couple items that we need to add to.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have my agenda.
I know this has been a ordeal tonight. There's a proposed item to add to the agenda, item 3.1. It says that it's to approve a memorandum of agreement between the county police department and the director of logistics, Georgia Army National Guard. That would be item 3.1. I have a motion to add that to the agenda.
So move.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion by Commissioner Bronson, a second by Commissioner Booker. All in favor by roll call, please. Commissioner Tostenson.
Yes.
Commissioner Findig.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal, yes. Commissioner Bronson.
Yes.
Commissioner Booker.
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski's, he made it yet. Commissioner O'Quinn.
Yes.
All right, and then we have one more item to add to the agenda tonight. and it's, would be item number 14, add to the public, agenda to discuss and consider voting on the Board of Elections, potential redistricting plan. Do I have a motion to include item 14?
So move.
I have a motion by Commissioner Booker. Second by anyone?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner O'Quinn. All in favor by roll call. Commissioner Tostison,
Yes.
Mr. Fendig,
Yes.
Commissioner Neal, yes. Commissioner Brunson,
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Quinn.
Yes.
Okay. With those two items added to our agenda, if we could now move forward, please, sir. Item 3.1 was added to the consent agenda. So Commissioner Brunson, if you want to re-entertain your motion.
I will, Mr. Chairman. Move that we, a motion to approve the consent agenda, general business and consent agenda for personnel with any item, with the exception of any item a commissioner wishes to discuss, pull for discussion.
Okay, sir. Have a motion by Commissioner Brunson, a second by Commissioner Booker. All in favor by roll call. Commissioner Tostison,
Yes.
Commissioner Fendig,
Yes.
Commissioner Neal, yes. Commissioner Brunson,
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Quinn.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll move now to our public hearings. Public hearing will be limited to 30 minutes for each opposing side. Oh, this is a public hearing for alcoholic beverage license, by the way. Be limited to 30 minutes for each opposing side with 5 minutes allocated to each to avoid being repetitious. If your group has a spokesperson, please allow that individual to present your group's position in the time allocated, and your cooperation is always appreciated. In this, item number 6 is to consider the issuance of a 2021 alcoholic beverage license to David Carrier for the Certified Market LLC DBA Certified Pantry and Provisions, 24 Midway Square, St. Simons Island, Georgia. The license is to sell malt beverages and wine not for consumption on premise of a grocery store. Sunday sales permitted. David Carrier is the licensee, and I think Chief Evans, you're here to present.
Yes, sir. With Mr. Carrier being present, Mr. Chairman and Board of Commissioners, the applicant is present and meets the requirements by the ordinance for issuance of a license.
All right. Thank you, Chief Evans. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to this license? Anyone to speak in opposition? We'll close out that portion. Is there anyone to speak in favor of this application? Anyone to speak in favor? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll close out the public hearing, and commissioners, we are back to you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I don't have that in my agenda folio here, so if somebody else wants to make the motion, I certainly will be glad to second it.
And I think the dissemination of information has been, mine was disappearing off my computer this afternoon. So if I can read again, is the issuance of a 2021 alcoholic beverage license to David Carrier for the Certified Market LLC DBA Certified Pantry and Provision, 24 Midway Square, St. Simons Island, Georgia.
Motion.
I move we approve the license.
Thank you. We got a motion to approve by Commissioner Brunson.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fendig. All in favor by roll call. Commissioner O'Quinn,
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neal, yes. Commissioner Fendig,
Yes.
and Commissioner Tostison.
Yes.
That is unanimous for those that are in attendance. We still have not heard from Commissioner Rafalski trying to get on the meeting. So,
Mr. Chairman, if I may, oh goodness, things are popping up here and things are coming off the press at the same time. There was a request by the Board of Elections to hear item number 14 first. That was the rezoning maps.
So you're making a motion to move to item 14 and then come back to the public hearing?
Yeah, there was a request on that green sheet to make that item first, and Rhonda just gave me the printout on it, so that's what I got.
Yeah, I see that now. Did not see that earlier. So, first of all, Mr. Carrier, you do have your license, and we'll move down to item number 14 then, if the commission's okay with that, to discuss and consider voting on a potential redistricting map. And is Mr. Chan with us?
Yes, I am, Commissioners.
How are you this evening?
I'm fine.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there anything that you want to open up with tonight?
Not really. I'm here to answer questions. I can try to pull up the maps to zoom in on them if you want to look at them, but we're here to discuss the 3 proposed maps, B, F, and G.
Yes, sir, and I am fortunate enough to have those laying in front of me. Glad I'm not depending on my computer tonight. Gentlemen, do any of you want to lead off in this conversation?
Well, I would like to see the demographic information for each one, how it impacts the districts 4 and 5.
Let me see if I can pull those up just a second.
Could you put all 3 of them up on the screen at the same time?
Well, there'll be the demographics, which will be the spreadsheet breakdown. Just a second. Okay. Can you see a Excel spreadsheet right now?
I can't.
I cannot.
Okay, let me see if I'm having a hard time getting that pulled up. Just a second. If you'd hadn't left me at 14, I had this ready for you. But if you have your emails from the other night, it was in the email I sent you that had the breakdowns for them.
Chris, if you want to forward me the email, I'll share it on the screen.
Okay, a second.
Chris, this thing popped up this afternoon about 5 o'clock. Is there just this urgency to do this tonight? I mean, the fact that we were voting on it popped up at 5 o'clock. I mean, I know
Right.
everything had previously done.
You had talked about it at the work session on Tuesday about trying to get down to 1 map tonight, if possible. Let me see if I can send her an email real quick that has that on there. Were there any other questions specifically about the maps that I can answer while I'm doing this?
Mr. Brunson, to answer your question, it does not absolutely have to happen tonight. The sooner the better. What Chris will do from here, or when the board selects a final candidate plan, Chris will submit that to the state for what they call a technical review to make sure that it meets the technical requirements for the plan, and then it'll come back before the county commission for a final vote. So this would not be your final a chance to look at it. It's just it gives Chris the opportunity to take it to the state. But in short, it does not absolutely have to happen tonight, but we are, on a timeline to get this done as quickly as possible so we can go ahead and get that done. I would say if tonight is not the night to give him direction on which plan to take to the state, I think our recommendation would be to have a special call meeting sometime between now and your next regular meeting on the 4th.
Can you enlarge it some, Tamara?
And scroll down to maps. It should be on the second page, F and G, because I think those are the two that they probably need to be considering the most, because map B still had the larger footprint for District 1, and map F and G kind of shrinks the footprint a little bit. So if I was looking at it, I'd probably look at one of these two maps before I would look at the other one.
Yeah, and I studied these pretty good a little earlier. I am prone to map G myself, but what I did not like map F, but that's me, and that's me weighing in.
Can we look at both of those maps on the screen? F and G?
I can try to pull those up.
Well, I have the physical maps that you gave us.
Yeah, they're on map G. You have a black and white copies of all the maps as the whole county and each of the individual districts. Map F, you just have a copy of the county-wide version of it. Can you see anything? Are you seeing the map on there?
Yeah, which map is that, G or F?
This is G. So I can scroll in, you can see the different areas. Most of the differences are going to be right here in the middle part of the map between districts 1, 3, 4, and 5. So this is where most of the changes are at, most of the differences. And then these are the demographics as they break down for that map.
And this is map G.
Map
correct?
G, correct. All the incumbents are in their districts. It checks off on all the integrity checks. And I
Chris,
did.
Can you move that up a little bit to include Jekyll? So Jekyll in this is included in District 1. Is that right?
Correct. And all the maps we're looking at right now are Jekyll in District 1. I did talk to Jones Hooks with the Jekyll Island Authority this afternoon, and he wanted me to reiterate that any map they prefer would have them with the island district of District 2, and we discussed and we talked about that, and they are and they're understanding that it will probably have to go with District 1, and that's the way they prefer if they can't be with St. Simon's Island, and they did not have a preference on B, F, or G. And this one here's F. So you kind of have a little bit different layout right there in the middle. The one thing I like about G is it has less of those little arms right here in the middle that kind of reach out and look like you're trying to gerrymander a little bit more. But it does have this little hump, which is You can give or take that, but both maps pass integrity checks. Both of them should be acceptable to the state. And then the only thing we would be waiting on from the election side is what the state does with the House district so that we can go ahead and start drawing our precincts in.
And what we're looking at right now is F or G?
This is G.
G?
Yeah. This is the one I think Chairman Neal said he preferred.
Could you put F back up, please?
Sure.
Boy, there's not a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, the most of this, the visible difference in this one is in District 4. If you see how it comes all the way up to almost where it comes up to Board Member Madala's house up here, whereas it's a lot smaller here on G. So back to F.
I'm District 4. I don't have any issues with G. I think that would probably be my preference, but Alan, what's your weigh in on it?
Yeah, could I see the demographics again?
Okay, yeah, here's the, this is for G.
This is for G.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is the one that the chairman is okay with?
That's what it sounds like from what he was mentioned just a minute ago. And this is the demographics for F.
Okay. Yeah.
Either one of the maps is we're gonna have a little bit of a challenge when we start looking at polling centers for District 3. And so like I mentioned in the email, if you guys have any suggestions or ends with anybody, any churches or civic organizations in District 3 or the north part of District 4, forward me their names.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with G. But I just for the record, I preferred the I believe it was H, where Jacob was a part of District 4.
That was
that was a better,
E.
I thought that was a better synergy, but you know, and it, you know, didn't have District 1 such a large area that had to be covered by the district commissioner. I mean, I know people don't live in that, in all of that, but it's still.
Commissioner Booker, I talked to John Suggs this afternoon as well and talked to him about District 4. They really, I think, like the continuity of exit 29 down there. I mean, it is sort of their north face to Jekyll, and that was his thought. I don't.
Okay.
And I tend to agree with that. I think it makes more sense than.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a heartburn about it. I could go with G. You know, it looks as fair as we can make it based on the parameters.
Mr. Chairman, you want a motion?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Do you have the sheet to make the motion?
I move to request that the board of, I'm at the Pate building. I've got all sorts of stuff going on down here for me. I move to request the board of.
Sorry to interrupt you. Commissioner Rafalski wants to say something. I have him on my phone on speaker. Go ahead.
I'm watching on Facebook. Listen, when I talked to John Took, he asked because of schools, the Satilla Shores and the fire stations out at exit 29. He asked that they remain in District 1 since they had to be moved out of District 2. So I just thought I'd share that part with everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move to request that the Board of Elections submit map option G to the state for technical review.
I second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Brunson, a second by Commissioner,
Go ahead.
to, move with map G. All in favor, starting with, Commissioner O'Quinn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski, you still remote?
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fendig,
Yes.
Commissioner Tostenson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Neal, yes. So that is unanimous, and we'll move with map option G. Thank you, Mr. Channer.
Thank you, commissioners. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. So
Ain't your fault.
Yeah,
have a good meeting.
have a good evening. We'll move on with public hearings for land use.
Mr. Chairman, if
Yeah.
I may, I would like to defer number 7 on the public hearing land use, ZM 4796 to our next meeting in November the 4th. I'd like to make that in a motion.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Tostenson to defer item 7. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Booker. All in favor of deferring item 7, ZM 4796 to November 4th. We'll start, Commissioner Tostenson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fendig,
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson,
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski,
Yes.
and Commissioner O'Quinn,
Yes.
and Commissioner Neal will go with yes. That is unanimous to defer item number 7. To any that may have come down to the Pate Building for this, our apologies. I think Commissioner Tostenson wants more time to look into the pros and cons and make sure that he's making an informed decision. And I think there's several that would agree with him on that. So to any that we inconvenienced at the Pate Building tonight, our sincerest apologies. Item number 8, CUP 4412, 2901 Scarlett Street Mini Warehouse. Consider a request for a conditional use permit in highway commercial zoning to operate a mini warehouse business at 2901 Scarlett Street, parcel 03-27624. Kevin M. Higgins, agent for David Lee, 3003 Scarlett LLC owner. Ms. Thompson, have you got this report?
Yes, sir, I do, Commissioner. Can you see my screen?
I believe I do.
Perfect. This is Pamela Thompson, Director of Community Development. This is CUP 4412 for 2901 Scarlett Street to allow for mini warehouse use. It is zoned highway commercial.
Okay.
The applicant's requesting to allow mini warehouses. This location did receive site plan approval in August. The main request at that point was for RV boat storage canopies that you can probably see from the on-ramp to exit 36 as you look over at this site. The mini warehouse use was shown, but they do need a conditional use to have that allowed on the site. This is the zoning map. As you can see, it's highway commercial and it's right tucked into Interstate 95 and exit 36. This is the proposed site plan. You can see they're going into the old strip mall and putting in mini storage units. The Planning Commission at its October 5th meeting voted unanimously to recommend that you all approve CUP 4412 as presented to you this evening. You have all this information in your packet. Here are the possible motions with the recommended motion from staff and the Mainland Planning Commission. Tonight is a public hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. This is a public hearing. Commissioners, do you have any comments before we open the public hearing? All right, hearing none. This is a public hearing. Any that would speak in opposition to this CUP 4412, please come forward. And the image of the Pate building is just too small for me to see if anyone's moving in there. So any to speak in opposition? Hearing none. Any that would speak in favor? Any to speak in favor of CUP 4412? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, and commissioners, we're back to you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer a motion if there's no other discussion. I move to approve CUP 4412 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Booker, a second, I believe it's Commissioner O'Quinn. All in favor by roll call, Commissioner Tostenson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fendig,
Yes.
Commissioner Bronson,
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Quinn,
Yes.
and Commissioner Neal. Yes, that is unanimous. Thank you. The next item, number 9, is CUP 4797, 3435, and 3471, Highway 17 South, Southport Self-Storage. Consider a request for a conditional use permit in the limited industrial, which is LI zoning district, to operate a mini warehouse business at 3435 and 3471 Highway 17 South, parcels 03-19929 and 03-27448. Jake Hightower, Robert Civil Engineering Agent for Kirk Watson, a Store and Lock Inc. applicant and owner. Ms. Thompson?
Yes, sir, Chairman. Again, for the record, this is Pamela Thompson, Director of Community Development. This is a conditional use permit for Southport Self-Storage. Here is the property, and as you can see, one of the properties is already still self-storage. When staff was examining the new site, we could not find a conditional use permit that had been received for the original property that is existing many warehouses. So we requested, and the applicant agreed to go ahead and get one and make sure that all permissions would be in place, just so there wouldn't be any question moving forward. This is the proposed site plan. This has been approved based on you all approving the conditional use permit. So the Mainland Planning Commission has already approved the site plan, again, contingent on your approval tonight. They did vote on October 5th to recommend to you 7-0 that this conditional use permit is approved as presented. These are your possible motions and the recommended motion by staff and the Mainland Planning Commission. This is a public hearing. I'm available, and Mr. Jake Hightower is available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Commissioners, any comments before we open the public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to abstain from the discussion and obviously the vote, a family member there.
Thank you, Commissioner Bronson. This being a public hearing, any that would speak in opposition to CUP 4797, please come forward and state your name. Any to speak in opposition? Seeing none, hearing none. Any that would speak in favor of this application? Any to speak in favor? Seeing none, hearing none, we will close the public hearing on this, and commissioners, we're back to you.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve CUP 4797 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Booker, a second by Commissioner O'Quinn to approve CUP 4797. All in favor by roll call, Commissioner O'Quinn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski,
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Bronson is
Abstain.
Commissioner Fendig,
Yes.
Commissioner Tostenson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Neal, yes. So that's 6 for approval, 1 abstention. We'll move on to item number 10, CUP 4807, 3701 Altamonte Avenue Mini Warehouse. Consider a request for a conditional use permit in highway commercial zoning, HC zoning, to operate a mini warehouse business at 3701 Alatama Avenue, parcel 03-08674. Rogard Bishop, agent, for Steve E. Pello, owner. Ms. Thompson?
Yes, sir, commissioners. Good evening. Again, Pamela Thompson, Director of Community Development for the record. Many warehouses are a thriving business here in Glynn County. This is a conditional use for many warehouses at 3701 Altamonte Avenue. It is zoned highway commercial. The remaining lots in the site will be utilized by U-Haul for other already permitted uses, including truck rentals. And just for note, according to county records, the site has not been commercially active since 2018. This is the zoning map for your information. This is the conceptual plan. Of course, the actual site plan will need to come through the Mainland Planning Commission for approval. At its October 5th meeting, the Mainland Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend to you all that you approve conditional use permit 4807 as presented. These are your possible motions, and at the bottom in the box is the motion recommended by staff and the Mainland Planning Commission. This is a public hearing. We're available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Commissioners, before we open the public hearing, any comment? Okay, this is a public hearing for CUP 4807, 3701 Altamonte Avenue. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? We're getting feedback from someone. If we can mute the mics. This is a public hearing. Any that would speak in opposition to CUP 4807? Seeing none, hearing none. Any that would speak in favor of CUP 4807? Any to speak in favor? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing on this, and commissioners, we're back to you.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve CUP 4807 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner O'Quinn, a second by Commissioner Booker for approval of CUP 4807. All in favor by roll call. Commissioner Tostenson.
Yes.
Commissioner Fendig.
Yes.
Commissioner Bronson.
Yes.
Commissioner Booker.
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Quinn.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal, yes. So that is unanimous, and that is approved, CUP 4807. Item number 11 tonight is ZM 4800 this is 5599 Altamonte Avenue rezone. Consider a request to rezone 5599 Altamonte Avenue, parcel 03-21092 from the medium residential MR zoning district to the highway commercial HC zoning district. Kip Goodbread, EMC Engineering Services, agent for Jane Goldner, Ivan Goldner, and Romola Goldner, owners. Ms. Thompson.
Yes, sir, Chairman. Again, for the record, Pamela Thompson, Director of Community Development. You have been provided this information in your packet. The rezone is for a proposed Checkers restaurant along with some commercial retail. This property was zoned highway commercial until 1986 when it was rezoned to medium residential as part of the overall legacy apartment site. It was cut off from the apartment complex in 95 when the adjoining DaVita dialysis site was rezoned. So as you can see, it's now sitting out there at the intersection of Scranton Connector and Altama as medium residential as opposed to highway commercial. This is a conceptual plan. The site plan will have to go to the Mainland Planning Commission for actual approval. At its October 5th meeting, the Mainland Planning Commission did vote unanimously to recommend that you all approve ZM 4800 as presented. Here's your list of possible actions, and in the box at the bottom of the screen is the staff and Mainland Planning Commission recommendation. I'm available and Mr. Goodbread's available if you have any questions. This is a public hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Commissioners, before we open the public hearing, any comments? Okay, hearing none. This is a public hearing for ZM 4800. Any that would speak in opposition, please come forward and state your name for the record. Any that would speak in opposition? Seeing none, hearing none. Any that would speak in favor of ZM 4800? Any to speak in favor? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. And commissioners, we're back to you.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve ZM 4800 as presented.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Booker and a second by Commissioner Brunson to approve ZM 4800. All in favor by roll call. Commissioner O'Quinn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski,
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fendig,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Tostenson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neal, yes. So that is unanimous, approving ZM 4800. And I believe, gentlemen, that's the last of our public hearings tonight, unless I'm missing one. We'll move on to general business. Item number 12, appeal a Board of Appeals decision on ZV 4786. The Glynn County Board of Commissioners received an appeal of a September 9, 2021 decision made by the Board of Appeals of Glynn County in case number ZV 4786. On October 7, 2021, the Glynn County Board of Commissioners held a public hearing to consider the property owner appeal of the Board of Appeals decision September 9, 2021, denial of a variance request, case number ZV 4786, for the encroachment of existing elevated HVAC units into the side yard setback. The 0.19 acre is zoned R6, one family residential, and is located at 155 North Cottages Drive, Sea Palms North Cottages, St. Simon's Island, parcel ID 04-12551, Robert Thomas and Karen Thomas, owners. Ms. Thompson?
Yes, sir, commissioners. Thank you again. Pamela Thompson for the record, Director of Community Development. You did hold your public hearing on this item at your last meeting on October 7th. This is a request, as you can see, for an encroachment of two different HVAC units into the setback as elevated. Our current code says that HVAC units can encroach into a setback as long as they're on grade. If they're elevated, they need a variance. This is from the September 9th Board of Appeals meeting that the staff had recommended approval. Various Board of Appeals members believed that the owner could place the units in other location. They questioned if he could add dirt to raise the ground at the location. and also questioned whether the flooding on the lot was caused by that wall on the southern edge of the property. The Board of Appeals did vote unanimously to deny the request. Mr. Thomas did submit an appeal to that decision. When you all heard it at your October 7th meeting, you asked for more information from the Board of Appeals for the Homeowners Association letter regarding the fence and for the county engineering department's information about drainage on that property. So this evening, Mr. AJ Berry's with us, who's a member of the Board of Appeals. This is the HOA letter to the Thomases that discusses the fence. They sent one in April discussing the fence, that it was not executed in accordance. They then visited the site and on July 7th issued a letter saying that the walls in place now could continue. County engineering has been out to the site several times. The elevation in that area does generally fall from east to the west, meaning there is enough grade for water to flow. The stormwater to flow. The area adjacent to the house does provide some of that flow. And during the course of several site visits by county staff, standing water was not noted in the area of the HVAC units. Here's photographs. We actually went out the Friday after the last meeting and took pictures. It was a rainy day and just wanted to give some site pictures. Here are your possible actions. You can reverse the denial by the Board of Appeals, or you can affirm the denial of the request, and the actual request is to keep those two HVAC units elevated that are in the setbacks. You've already held the public hearing. This is just discussion. I believe the Thomases are here in the Pate building and Mr. Berry has joined us online. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear from Mr. Berry and then from Mr. Thomas.
All right. Mr. Berry?
He's got to unmute.
You're still muted, sir.
How about now?
There you go.
Okay, well, we heard this case and we presented the applicator with some suggestions of how he could remove the HVAC units so they would comply with the setback, and he didn't have any interest in doing that. We also asked him, told him he could raise them just a bit off of the grade to keep them dry, and he didn't have any interest in doing that either. So our duty is to protect the setback. So in the capacity of our board, we denied him.
Mr. Thomas, you want to respond to that, please?
Well, first time building over here, I didn't realize that I see all these AC units elevated throughout the island, all over the place, and we are on an island and it could flood, but that ain't why I did it. But anyway, they're much better, cleaner look, and they're easy to work on elevated, and it just makes it easier to manage and edge on them and weed eat and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know. If y'all could grant me this, I sure would be appreciative.
It's very unusual, Mr. Thomas, that the appeals board would turn something down. Why do you think that occurred?
Why they turned me down?
Yes, sir.
Well, I had a neighbor to the right of me that was a Hellcat, and it was his buddy. You want me to tell you, his buddy is Cliff Woodman. So they're buddies, and they politicked against me. But there's another one in the neighborhood that's elevated in sea palms, but AC units are elevated, but they don't mind the 6 inches. One of my units is 6 inches in the setbacks, and the other one is about 2 feet in the setbacks. And one of them's 40 inches off the ground, and the other one's 24 inches off the ground. I appreciate a yes on this if y'all would. And,
And just one other question, when they recommended you raising off the pad a couple feet, why did you not want to do that?
well, how would I do it? I got to build a block. I got to pour a footer and put block down to put dirt. If you just put dirt down, it's going to wash away. So it's just defeat the purpose. So I'd have to dig a footer, put the block in, fill it with dirt, pour a concrete slab up, depending on what height y'all tell me to, take the units off, put them back on, it's a process.
All
Mr.
right,
Thomas, if my memory,
that's all of my
excuse
questions at the moment. Thank you.
Mr. Thomas, if my memory serves me.
Commissioner Brunson, you froze.
I can't hear him.
And Commissioner Bronson, if you can hear us, your computer froze out. So I guess you can't speak or your screen.
Commissioner Brunson is asking
Yes.
about the HOA letter.
Yeah, but I just went off the line.
Okay, would you start over, please, Commissioner Bronson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know what happened. I just went into cyberspace there for a minute. Mr. Thomas, if my memory serves me correct, you had stated, whenever it was the last meeting, that you had a letter from the HOA approving your elevating those units where they are. Is that correct? And do you have a letter?
No, sir, I didn't have that. No, sir, I had approval about the fence.
Okay. My understanding was you had the fence and the AC. Okay, thank you. You didn't have a letter. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve this regretfully. My air conditions by my house are elevated, so I understand that principle around the island. I just find it very unusual that a simple thing like this got turned down, and the recommendations that were made to this homeowner were not followed through on. But I think we're looking at changing this ordinance anyway, so I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I think the motion is supposed to be, I move to reverse the denial of case number ZV 4786 by the Board of Appeals.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Fendig, a second by Commissioner Rafalski. All in favor by roll call, please. Commissioner O'Quinn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski,
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson,
No.
Commissioner Fendig,
Yes.
Commissioner Tostenson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neal, yes. So that's 6 for and 1 against. Mr. Thompson, I think you can get your CO.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes, sir.
one other thing. This was an unusual thing that we did. You be a good neighbor out there, okay?
I will. Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And to our Board of Appeals, gentlemen, this may seem like we don't appreciate the work you do, but we truly do. And it is unusual for something like this to come to us, but for my thinking, we are looking at trying to get this split caveat out of our ordinance. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So for that reason, I think several of us voted for this particular reversal. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for being with us tonight.
I understand. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barry.
All right.
Thank you, AJ.
Item number 13, consider approval of a temporary construction easement agreement with the Golden Isles Plaza LLC for 137 Altamonte Connector for the Spur 25 Altamonte Connector Splosh project. Will Worley is with us, and you get the privilege, Mr. Worley, of being our last presenter tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll try to be brief. This is the last piece of property that we need to acquire some rights to complete the right-of-way acquisition for the Spur 25 Altamonte Connector project. The agreement, which we were finally able to negotiate with the owner of the property, is for some temporary construction easements over 2 driveways. So the property that we're talking about is the shopping center that includes the TJ Maxx, the Books A Million, that whole shopping center there. And it stretches from the Altamonte Connector on one side, and it's one parcel all the way over to Scranton Road on the other side of the property. The deal we were able to negotiate is a payment of $35,000 for the easements. As part of this project, the driveway going out onto Altamonte Connector is going to be modified so that you cannot turn left out of that shopping center onto Altamonte Connector. The owners of the property have some concerns that's going to diminish traffic there. And in order to sort of direct traffic or attention to the Scranton Road exit, they would entrance and exit. They are thinking about applying for a sign permit for a monument sign on that side of their property. We don't know yet, but that may require them to file for a variance from the sign ordinance because of the amount of square footage that they are allowed on the property. And as part of this agreement, they've requested that if they have to apply for that sign variance, that there be a specific statement included in the staff report, and that's detailed in the memo that was included with this item. So that was a little bit unusual. It's been made very clear to them that if they do apply for that variance, that's up to the discretion of the board whether to grant that or not. It's not guaranteed. Finally, the improvements there include extending their island that's in their driveway a little further out into the right-of-way. Initially, the plan was that was going to be filled with concrete or cement, and they've asked that it be filled with dirt and grass, and that they'd be allowed to put irrigation in there so it'll continue to be a grassed island rather than a concrete island. So that's the basic details of the agreement that's before you tonight, and I'll entertain any questions that the commissioners might have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Worley. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Worley? I do want to say thank you for getting us to the end of this right-of-way acquisition for this particular parcel. It's been monumental.
I'm not sure there's anybody happier about it than me.
Commissioners? We need a motion to.
What's the motion? Can you put it up?
I've got the motion, Commissioner Booker, if it's okay. I move that we approve the temporary for the Golden Isles Plaza LLC for a portion of the property located at 137 Golden Isles Plaza, Brunswick.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Brunson, second by Commissioner Booker. All in favor by roll call. Commissioner O'Quinn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rafalski?
Yes.
Commissioner Booker?
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson?
Yes.
Commissioner Fendig?
Yes.
Commissioner Tostenson?
Yes.
And Commissioner Neal, yes. So that is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Mr. Attorney, do we have anything for executive session tonight?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman, not tonight.
All right. Well, we'll We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Chairman, I move we adjourn this meeting.
I second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner O'Quinn, a second by Commissioner Thompson to adjourn. All in favor by roll call, Commissioner O'Quinn,
Yes.
Rafalski,
Go ahead.
Yes.
Commissioner Booker,
Yes.
Commissioner Brunson.
Yes, go Braves.
Oh, I was gonna say that. Commissioner
Oh,
Fendig.
I beat you to the punch.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, my last understanding was that we were going to have an item for executive session personnel. Is that not going to happen now?
That will move to our next meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you. Then yes.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
All right, and Commissioner Neal, yes. So we stand adjourned, and I echo Commissioner Brunson, go Braves. Let's take it home tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight in this mayhem of internet and computer fury. So y'all have a good evening. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Good night.